So today we're going to be doing an oil change on the 2016 Mercedes GL350, which is the Mercedes diesel model. First we're going to pop the hood. I'm going to get that open. The nice feature with the Mercedes is, unlike other cars, is its ability to open the hood almost 90-degree level. It goes extra high. You could see how high this goes to access the engine bay. And here we have the oil fill cap and the dipstick. And because we're going to be changing an oil filter as well, what we're going to do is remove the engine cover and just lift on these, remove this a little bit, just pull up on this and get that out of the way. So here we have oil filter. On most cars it's underneath the car, on this one it's on top of the engine. And we have the oil dipstick, we have the oil filler cap. And so let's get our supplies. So for this oil change we're going to be using Amsoil. Amsoil European Motor Oil 0W30, which meets the standard of Mercedes for this particular oil change. And so the Amsoil website points out 8.5 quarts with the filter that this car takes, so I'll be getting out 9 of these bottles that we're going to be using for this particular oil change. Got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we just need 2 more of these babies. 8 and 9. So we got 7, 8, 9 bottles, and we're also going to need an oil filter. So for this one we're going to be using HP 7028 K&N filter. That's included the rubber gasket in there. We're going to be using the Liquimoly engine flush. And we're also going to be using the Ceratec friction modifier as well. So we'll place these here. Probably actually just place this here. So this car is currently on the Liquimoly 5W30 engine oil, and then we're going to be switching to Amsoil European Motor Oil which meets the Mercedes standards, which is the MB 22931, 22951, and 22952, which is the standard for the diesel engines with the diesel particulate filter, to ensure that the soot level does not exceed a certain level that actually clogs the filter. So we've got 9 bottles of oil, 2 bottles of engine flush, filter, and the engine modifier. Carefully remove this laptop. So what we're going to do next is fill the car with the engine flush. Second bottle of the engine flush. This is the last year, the 2016 is the last year that Mercedes put a diesel engine. I believe the model on this engine is an OM642 engine. So that's what's in this vehicle. Now that we filled with the engine flush, we're gonna go ahead and start the engine and let the car run for 15 minutes. This has 329,000 miles. And so another thing we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and actually restart the engine. And because we're going to be getting underneath the car, what I will do is hit this button so the car will raise itself. So you can see the vehicle is rising now. Kind of see in relation to in the front of the car. It's slowly pumping itself up. And so what I'm going to do is, because the car is raising itself, I'm going to disconnect the battery once I stop the engine, because once I'm underneath the car, I don't want the aromatic suspension to deflate itself on top of me. So I'm just going to wait until it's done. Okay, the car has done raising itself. Now I'm going to shut off the engine. And I'm going to go into the passenger seat here, move it forward, and disconnect the battery. That way, the only reason I'm doing it is because I don't want the aromatic suspension to deflate itself. So what I'm going to do is move the seat forward and up. Tilt the back forward. Alright, open the door here. Lift up the mat, and I'm gonna remove this cover, and here we're gonna find the negative terminal of the battery. So we're gonna go ahead and get a number 10 and unscrew that. So we're gonna loosen that bolt, lift up the negative terminal, and vehicle's power is off right now. Probably just gonna lay it down like this to sort of block it. Again, this is a negative, it's not gonna do anything. So that way the power is off and the car is not gonna drop itself on top of me while I'm underneath draining the oil. So the at this point, engine flush has run its cycle, and at this point we need to get underneath, remove the plastic cover, and drain the oil. And before we drain the oil, we're going to go ahead and open the oil cap to expedite the draining process. We'll remove the oil dipstick and carefully place it here or so. And what I'll do is actually place this little rag here so you can rest the dipstick on there. And we are ready to do some oil draining. That here's got these 8mm screws that they're everywhere in this pan, and we're going to go ahead and remove that. Alright, so we're going to start removing these screws here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I believe 5 and 6 that we're just gonna remove for drain to get the drain plug. And these are just 8mm. And the ratcheting tool makes it so much faster and easier. Trust me, I did this manually before with manual ratchet, and it does take some time. I believe we missed a couple of screws, so we'll just be removing these now. Yep, there's 2 more here. So, all in all, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 screws. And we'll just remove this pan like so. Push it to the side. Alright, so we got the drain plug on the oil pan. And I believe it's a size 13. Yep. And these do have a copper washer, so I'll be replacing that as well. Yep, and it's loose now. And let this blow. And the oil is liquid. That's how we like it. We don't want any sludge in there. Let this thing drain. And so while the oil is draining underneath, the challenge with these topside oil filters is once I unscrew this, the oil is going to start dripping everywhere. And I've avoided it in the past by trying to place yellow rags all around. But what I'm going to try to do is maybe take a rag, fold it. So what I'm doing is actually taking a rag, fold it in half, and then another half. And then I'm going to do is cut the corner on the rag, hopefully big enough to just slide the rag over this. So we're going to take this and cut a little bit. So now we have this hole. So let's see how this works. And I think that's gonna be perfect. So I just slide it right over the filter, and I think this is gonna prevent the crazy spillage that I deal with usually. At least most of it. That might be the solution. So I'm using this oil filter removal tool just for grabbing this thing right here. If you also notice on the Mercedes filter cap, there's these blue dots that line up. That means you have closed it sufficiently. So I usually close it by hand and then use the tool to kind of tighten it to bring it down to where almost these blue dots line up. So we're gonna start unscrewing this, and hopefully minimize the spillage coming from this wonderful topside Mercedes filter. And you'll see what I'm talking about in a second. So we've got all this oil in there. So what I'm doing now is removing the new filter out of the box, put it in my yellow rag here, and then it comes with the new gasket and the O-ring. And so what I usually do is kind of place it here carefully, as much as you could possibly carefully be. Remove the old one, place it in the box. So what we are presented with here is this O-ring and this gasket, so we're going to be replacing those momentarily. So I'm just going to be using these like pointy tweezers. And what I'll do is just kind of take that off, throw it in the box with the old filter, remove this as well, put that in there. Also remember the new gasket goes into this one, to this line, not this line. Filter out. Careful not to lose the small one. Place that like so. I'm going to take the small O-ring, dump this in here, So we've got the filter housing ready, and the new filter doesn't really matter which way it goes in, so we'll go ahead and insert it all the way in. Make sure it just kind of push it in until it settles itself. All right, good to go. And now we can screw it back into the filter housing. Doesn't this remind you of doing surgery? So remove this old stuff out of the way. So I'm gonna hand tight this and remove this rag to reveal the clean work area. So it's actually the first time I've done the rag with the hole. So if you're a Mercedes enthusiast, let me know what you think or what you do for this type of situation. You could probably just throw away the rag and use another one. So I'm just hand tightening this. You can see the blue marker is almost lined up. So I'm just gonna sort of gently bring it a little bit closer, and that's good enough. And that is for the oil filter. Looks like we drained quite a bit of oil here. Just push this out of the way. What we're going to do at this point is insert the plug. And then some of you might ask, what about the copper washer? To be honest, so when you take out this drain plug with the copper washer on it, you could definitely get a new one. What I do is take it off and reverse it and put it back on with the side that has not been bent yet. And you know, remember, copper is pliable, so I just reversed the sides, and is it's good as new to seal this oil pan. All right, so we're good underneath. We'll do like a wipe down. Okay, so now that we have our oil drained and the plug back in the engine, we can actually proceed and fill this car with some oil. So I'm just taking the oil dipstick and inserting it back into the engine. So per instructions, this car does take 8.5 quarts. So what I'll be doing is I'll pour in 8, and then we're gonna run the engine and check the level. Got 1. 2. Three. Four. Now we got number 5. Number 6. And number 7. And at this point, we're going to check the level and see where we're at. So we're about kind of halfway, so I think it's safe to pour in number 8 in there. We're going to put number 8. And then we're going to be adding the Ceratec. So we're going to remove this funnel. Take the Ceratec bottle. Don't forget the handy dandy label that they give you for your windshield. So I'll put that aside. Make sure you shake the bottle. I'm going to be putting that in the engine. Each bottle of Ceratec treats up to 5 gallons of oil, I believe. So just in short, the reason I'm putting the Ceratec in the engine is because it reduces friction and wear, and the special structure of the ceramic particles fills in microscopic irregularities in the metal and prevents direct metal-to-metal contact. It's an additional agent, utilizes the friction energy to further smooth the metal parts and anneal the surfaces. This saves fuel and increases the service life of the engine and transmission. The long-term effect is 50,000 kilometers, but I do change this every 20,000. Application add directly to the engine or the transmission, preferably right after the oil change. And this bottle will treat up to 5 quarts of oil. So I'll go ahead and actually add the second bottle at this point. And now we're going to add the second bottle. So that's 2 bottles of Ceratec added. Now we're going to run the engine for about 5 minutes. I'm going to close the oil cap and kind of let things settle. And then we're going to check the engine oil level. Before we start the car, we actually need to reconnect the battery, which I totally forgot to do. So I'm gonna get a number 10. We're gonna put that back in. And tighten this. That's in. Put the cover back on. Put the mat back in place. And let's return the seat back into its original position. Okay, that's done. So at this point, we're gonna start the engine to run the car for 5 minutes and let our new oil settle so we can check the level. Go ahead and shut off the engine, and we're going to check our oil level and see where we're at this point, and add if necessary. And let's see what we got here. So far, if you remember, we poured in 8 quarts. So it looks like we are at about 75 percentile mark next to the full line. So that's about a half a quart. Sounds reasonable. So we'll go ahead and remove the oil cap. Place a funnel. Place a funnel and pour in about a half of this bottle. We don't want to overfill anything. Now we check the oil level. And we are exactly at the full mark, and that is good enough for our application here. The other half a quart that we have left, will be used later to add any oil necessary, if necessary. And at this point, we're going to remove the funnel, close the oil cap. We're going to take the engine cover and place it over the engine, push down on it until it clips in, close the flap for the air filter, and we are finished. Now that we have finished changing the oil, what we're gonna do is reset this car's oil service meter, our service indicator. So we're gonna pick up the phone button and OK button at the same time. I don't have enough hands, so I'm doing it with one hand. So then we'll scroll down to Assist Plus, and we hit OK on full service, which I already did. So it says could not be carried out because I already did it. So that's how you reset the service indication there on Mercedes GL after you did the oil change. So this was the oil change for 2016 GL350 Mercedes-Benz. This would also apply for, I believe, anywhere from 2012 to 2016 GL350s. The other diesel engines, obviously similar applications. I believe the Jeep Cherokee and the Mercedes Sprinter has the same OM642 diesel engine. So there it is, folks. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, thumbs up the video to show your support for this channel, and then I will list all the products in the description. If you go ahead and buy from my links, I will get percentages for any of your purchases that will actually go towards supporting this channel. Thank you and have a good day.